Do you mind just introducing yourself and when you were at school? That would be great.
Yeah, of course. I'm Arthur McBain, and I went to Merchants. I graduated I left in 2010, I think.
That's
Yeah,
right.
11 years ago, almost. Oh, wow. It's a
Terrifying.
long time, isn't it? Time flies. But yeah, I left in 2010, and I'm still an actor and a children's author.
Great. And would you mind just talking us through your journey since school to get to where you are now?
Yeah, of course. So I went to drama school straight after school, which is relatively rare thing. I think that a lot of people, it takes a couple of years of auditioning to get into drama school. I realise now that I think the reason why I got in is because I auditioned for the foundation course, because I hadn't got into a few drama schools. So I thought the place where I went, the Oxford School of Drama, I thought I'd audition for the foundation because maybe I hadn't got into the others because I wasn't ready. And so I auditioned for this foundation course, and they went, "You're the only person who's applied for the foundation course." Because normally people apply for the full degree and then they get told, actually, maybe you should do a foundation. Whereas I just gone straight in for the foundation. They were like, "Why have you applied for the foundation course, the 6 month foundation?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't get into the other places, so I thought maybe I needed a foundation course." And I think then they went, "Would you be interested in doing the 3 year?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I think humility is what got me in, rather than talent. I think they went, "All right, this guy's quite humble." So not anymore, not humble anymore, but I was then. Yeah, so I went to the Oxford School of Drama after Merchants, did 3 years there, and it was great, wonderful experience. 5 days a week, contact time all day. It's just like being at school, actually. This is many hours, and lots of hard work and stuff, lots of hard playing, and lots of Shakespeare and stuff and all that. And then I graduated without an age. There's this. I don't know how much you want to go into now, but at the end of a drama school training, you have what's called a showcase, which is where each student goes up on stage in front of all of the industry's agents and casting directors, and they do speeches or scenes, and the agents and stuff are all sat there on their phones going, who's this person? And they're signing people and wanting people to work with. It's a very harrowing process. It's not very nice, but I did that and didn't get an agent, didn't get anything, got no interest whatsoever. And so that was the point of sink or swim, really. And I know that there was not a single part of me that was going to accept not being a part of the industry. And so I then represented myself. I set up my own agency email address. I set up an office in my flat, and I sent emails to people as if I was my agent, and just hassled people like crazy. And then eventually I started to work. My first job, I managed to land my first job 6 months out of drama school with the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National Theatre of Scotland co-production of a play called Dunsinane. And we toured that around the world for about 2 years. I mean, honestly, we went all around China and Russia and North America. It was an incredible experience. And I did that without an agent. So where the other people in the cast were having to pay 12.5% of their wages to their agent, I was just getting 100%. I thought it was absolutely great.
That's amazing.
I thought that it might be the future. I was like, actually, let's have a revolution. Let's have a bunch of actors just representing themselves. Anyway, I did get an agent shortly after that, but and then started working, in TV and stuff, and that's that really, I suppose. Essentially, fight or flight kicked in, and I think that you've made a decision, you've got to stick by it and really see it through, I think.
That's amazing. That's good. It's great to have been able to kind of get a kickstart like that, though.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that you're also a children's author. So what's brought that about?
So that started. I've for about. I was trying to think back on this actually the other day. I think I wrote my first kids book when I was in my third year of drama school. So that'll be 8 years ago. And I was writing them originally for my little cousin, who is in the girls' school currently. So you're right, Maisie. Anyway, I wrote a book for her and had a lot of fun doing it. And I've realised that I had so much fun rhyming. I love rhyming. It's just like I get so much joy out of making things rhyme. and so I wrote her a book about a little girl who has a. She probably won't remember. I wrote a book about a little girl who has a balloon and she lets go of it, and it's about the balloon's journey through space and where they get to. And I was doing it just for fun, really, and it was off that book I ended up being sat. I was directing a play in London. I used to do bits of directing. I don't anymore, but I was directing this play, and the actress who was in it, her mate came to the pub with us after rehearsal one day, and she was a literary agent's assistant. And so I just started mouthing off, saying, "Oh, yeah, I write kids' books." And she then emailed the head of children's literary, the head of children's agenting. What's the right word? I don't know. Anyway, emailed them with my story, and she signed me. And so then I got a literary agent as well, Sylvia, who I'm still with now. She's still my agent, and it's lots of fun. I've got a book just over here.
Brilliant.
Here we go. That was my first book, In the Dead of the Night, that came out last October, and it's a lot of fun. My next book is out next year. This is about to be released in Korea and Turkey, so I'm in 3 languages now, which is very difficult, kids, because it's difficult to translate rhymes. That's all the publishers keep coming to me and going, "Can you stop rhyming, please?" And so because it's so difficult to translate. But they've managed it in Korea and Turkey. I don't know if they'll rhyme in those languages, but we'll see. So yes, there's that, and then the next book, as I say, is out in a couple of years, and it's just something that I just sort of keep doing. I've got the next sort of 4 or 5 books written.
That's amazing. So, and yeah, I can confirm that rhyming is. I only like reading rhyming bedtime stories to my kids.
Do you? So interesting. You see,
so much better, and they listen to. Yeah. They just like them so much better. So.
Publishers hate it. It's really, really, really difficult trying to get a publisher to pay any attention to a rhyming picture book.
Gosh.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because you'd think that because it lends itself to rhyming so much, but
and so many do. So if you're looking at your Gruffalos and all those, you know, they're all rhyming.
Well, exactly. And then the Gruffalo brings us back to Shakespeare, because all roads lead to Shakespeare. The Gruffalo is in iambic pentameter, so it's in the same rhythm as Shakespeare's written in. So anyone who says Shakespeare is difficult to read, just give them a copy of the Gruffalo, get them to read that, and then go, "It's not difficult."
That is really good advice. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to be an actor, study the Gruffalo. Yeah.
So what would you consider to have been, if you're looking at acting in particular, have you had particular highs and particular lows over your career so far?
Yes, both. Acting is a life of highs and lows. There is no such thing as a consistent high. And so... And you can speak to anyone at any point in their career and they will say the same. Some highs have been the first TV show that I did was called Friday on My Mind, and it was was by the ABC, who are Australia's version of the BBC. And it was a series about a 60s rock band called the Easy Beats, who actually, they actually existed. And the drummer was from Bootle. And so it turns out that no one in Australia can do a Scouse accent. And so they got in touch with Arthur. They called me up and they went, Arthur, can you do a Scouse accent? And I said, yes, but if you ask any Scousers, they will say no. So I know that whenever proper Scousers have seen my performance in that TV show, they go, what is that accent? But it doesn't matter because the Australians thought it was very real. Anyway, I'm joking slightly, but also not joking that much. But yeah, so we did that, and I played the drummer Snowy, and they put me in like really intensive drum training to learn the drums. Luckily at school I'd done a lot of music because I wanted to be a rock star when I was at Merchants, and so I spent my entire life on messing around on drum kits and things, and so I got to do that, and it was amazing. I spent 3 months in Sydney. We had the best time. I made friends for life. Some of the other cast members, one of the guy who played the bassist asked me to be a groomsman at his wedding. The director and I are now really close friends. Whenever I go back to Australia, because my book is out in Australia, so I went back for a book tour last year and stayed at the director's house. And when he comes to London, he stays here. And it was just a really meaningful experience. And also, I got to be on TV, like in a proper lead part, and so that was pretty great. And then the show did very well over there. It got nominated for 8 or 9 really big awards, and it is over here. I think you can get it on Now TV or Sky or something. And so yeah, so that was good. But one of the best things about it, sorry, I could just witter on for ages, but one of the best things about that job was that I was like, I need a drum kit to practice on because I can't, pull off, looking like I can actually play the drums unless I'm practicing all the time. And so I asked the people in the production base, which was Fox Studios in Sydney, if I could have a room with the drum kit in. And so they said, yeah, we'll get you a room. We'll get you the only available room. It was a room called Sound Stage 2, which is the room that they shot The Matrix in. I mean, it's big enough. You can fit like 4 Boeing 747s in it. It's the biggest room I've ever seen in my life. And there was me just sat in the middle on drum kit. And the room was so big that there wasn't an echo. I could hit a drum and it wouldn't echo. It was like being outside. Amazing. So that's the highs. Is getting to swan about, being flown around the world, and make shows about rock bands.
You're definitely selling it as a career.
Yeah, but the lows are very low. I auditioned for, I probably get 1 out of every 20 jobs I audition for, if not less. I mean, the level of rejection is, it sort of washes, it's like water off a duck's back now, really. But in the early days, it was really difficult. Because the rejection is intense. You get a lot of it all the time, and you need to always say that it has nothing to do with you. It is to do with factors that are outside of your control. Usually it comes down to what you look like. Rarely does it come down to how good you are at acting, because the truth is that there are millions of really, really, really good actors out there. There are so many good actors, that it's not about the best to get it. It's not a meritocracy in a sense. It's not the best don't rise to the top necessarily. Sometimes they do, but actually it's about whether your face fits, who are they going to cast as. So for example, I did my most recent TV show was, I did a show on ITV1 called The Trouble with Maggie Cole, which was the Dawn French's latest outing. Now, I was playing a member of a family, so there was me, there was a guy playing my little brother, and there was a woman playing our mum. And So when they're casting that, they've got to take into account family looks. You know, me and the guy who played my brother, Laurie, we look like brothers. We do genuinely look like brothers. So that helped. So whichever one of us got the job first, the other one has to thank them for that, because the other person probably got it off the back because we look similar. So there's that. But it is, you know, sometimes you can go a year without working, but that is kind of normal. If sometimes when you're in it, it feels like there are lots of moments where you go, have I made the wrong choice in my life? Is this the furthest it gets? Am I going to get any further than this? The answer always is yes, but you've got to stick with it, and that's the difficult thing.
Yeah, and how, so presumably your books and your writing kind of help to deal with that, because you've got that going on as well. So, I mean, you presumably have lots of friends, colleagues, contacts who are also in the industry. What's your advice on how to handle that unpredictability of work? Because it's very difficult to live and have a home and feed yourself, isn't it? And if things are coming and going.
Yeah, I mean, stability is not a thing really with this. I genuinely don't know what the answer is. I mean, I do think that the secret to being a good actor is not being good at acting, it's being good at being unemployed. That is the reality of it. You know, even friends of mine who have, you know, made it to Hollywood and are in Hollywood films, they have the same thing. They still have a year, 2 years of unemployment between each job. So yeah, kids' books help. Having something else as a creative outlet is essential. The other thing that is essential, which has taken me a while to figure out, is that you mustn't pin your self-worth on where you are professionally. And what I mean by that is that it's very, very, very tempting to only feel like you have worth as a human being when you're working. And when you aren't working, you've got to find those reasons to have a life, those reasons to like be happy and feel fulfilled. It's taken me a while to work that out, but I think it is true, and it all comes back down to the need, the intense desire to do well, whatever it is. I think everyone has it. So, but yeah, keep them fulfilled. Kids' books, they help. I noticed that when I started writing kids' books and when I started getting publishers and things like that, I started doing better at auditions because it mattered less. Because I've got stuff going on outside, and nothing is more unattractive than the smell of desperation. So you've got to work out ways to not be desperate to work. But yeah, and other things like, I mean, the financial side of things is tricky. I know that lots of actors hold down lots and lots of jobs. That is difficult. I work wherever I can, whenever I can, on all sorts of things. Luckily, the last couple of years, when you work on TV, luckily you can sort of live off that for a while. So this year, I've decided to start making all my own clothes, just to learn something new. So the seamstress who made all of Dawn French's costumes on The Trouble with Maggie Cole, I met her at the cast and crew screening and started talking to her and was like, do you want an apprentice? Because I've always wanted to make clothes. I've never said that before in my life. I don't know why it came out, but I said it. Anyway, she was like, yeah, I would love to teach someone who cares how to make clothes. So I started going to her once a week. This was before the first lockdown, and just learning, sitting at her sewing machine, having her teach me how trousers work. And so now this year I've just been practicing that. I've basically all the jeans that I wear now I made. I've made loads of shirts that I wear, and I think I might make a jacket next. But just like finding reasons to stay, to keep learning, I think is really, really, really important, because otherwise your brain just rots.
Yeah.
If you're not going to work every day, yeah, if you're not going to work every day and engaging it, and then the rot sets in very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, but that must have been a big help though through all of these last few months when things have been so different for everyone, to at least have some focus and something productive that you can be doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my entire industry has almost disappeared this year throughout all of this, and that is very difficult. I mean, all the theatres are closed. Obviously, I mean, we're all here. We all know that all the theatres are closed, and lots of the TV shows and films are all being cancelled and postponed. The ones that are going are few and far between, and the problem is insurance. Actually, it's not that they can't do it; it's just that people won't insure the film sets. Sorry, and so what was I saying? Yes, because of that, the pool of work has shrunk a lot, and what it is now is a very small pond with a lot of very big fish swimming around in it. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch he's available. You know, if you want Benedict in your thing, he's probably got time on his hands. So that's going to be the difficult thing. There are lots of things auditioning. I'm meeting for a lot of parts at the moment, which is really lovely. But I also know that someone else, or Kit Harington will probably be available. And if you want someone with curly hair, go with him probably.
I was going to say, was it the hair that made you bring that reference?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. I'm in a very small pool of actors. Go, we need an actor with curly hair for this. Who should we get? It's between Arthur or Kit. Yeah. Luckily, Aidan Turner's a little bit older than us, so so he's all right. We're not in the same bracket as him, but yeah. So that has been interesting, and I would be very interested to know how many actors are forced out of the industry by the end of this. So really, my main focus at the moment is not in getting work. Rather, it's not giving up.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I mean, there hasn't been a thought yet, but yeah. I mean, it's very interesting because like lots of actors, like that is our identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll see this at schools, like the students at school, the ones who are actors and the ones who do the plays. The acting and the plays are their identity. It's like, oh, that's the drama kid. And so when that's taken away, it's very difficult. Yeah.
And looking back, you mentioned that when you were at school, you were into your music and kind of wanted to do that. Was it when you were at school that you thought about, well, you must have thought about going into acting when you were at school, because you obviously were in productions, you went on to drama school. So when did it come to you that you might like to go into acting?
Do you want the honest answer? I didn't want to write any more essays. I was like, I'm done writing essays. I'm going to go and find a vocational course where I could just pretend to be a tree for 3 hours. Yeah, I mean, I sort of like, as a small kid, I was always showing off and being really annoying. So that probably was where I was like, oh, he'll probably be an actor. And then I wanted to be a rock star. I mean, I took that very, very, very seriously. I still do, really, to some extent. That's why playing drummers in TV shows is such a happy memory for me. But yeah, so I did lots of the plays with Dr. Gill in the Williams Hall, and had loads of fun doing them. They were always so much fun. But around about the age of 14, I got my first electric guitar, and then that was it. And I was just in the music department all the time, doing their heads in. I mean, I remember there was a rule put in place when we like at lunchtime when we'd be playing. The rule put in place was the amplifier is not to go over 5 on the volume scale, and it never went under 5 because they'd be like, yeah, sorry, turn it down, yeah, it's too loud, sorry, yeah, we'll just sort that out. Doors closed, great, back up again, let's just and so we did that. I was like, that was great. I used to love that, and that was where my entire sort of like, there was a huge, I don't know what it's like there now, obviously, but at the time there was a massive culture around the music department. It was its own little microcosm of so it had its own social hierarchy. And also the other interesting thing, as I look back now, is that it was trans age group. So when we were all in the music department, I would be jamming with people who were in sixth form when I was 14, and all of the age groups would just meld together only for the love of like rock music and stuff. And so I think that was a pretty cool place to find acceptance, because the older kids are quite inspiring and cool, and then also there's the humility of them not caring that you're younger. Counts for a lot because it makes your self-worth. You go, oh, actually, maybe I'm cool. Could be cool. So yeah, and then and then the drama school thing came when people were when it came to UCAS time and everyone was looking at where to go. And honestly, I didn't even consider going to university. It wasn't even a thing that I even took seriously. Maybe it did for about an hour in a careers evening, and an architect who came to come and speak to us almost convinced me to go and do that. But then they lost me when they added onto the end of the description of what their job was that it takes a minimum of 5 years. and I thought, I haven't got time for that. I've not got time for 5 years. Someone else could do that. So yeah, and then just drama school was just seeing the obvious choice. Honestly, looking back, I don't even think I made a decision. I think it just happened. It just seemed obvious.
They happen that way, don't they? Yeah, they just sort of evolve. Yeah. And yeah. Was there any particular kind of lessons, or so you talked about music and how that kind of helped at school, but anything you picked up particularly at school that you've kind of carried with you, whether in productions or from Dr. Gale, or anything that's you think's really helped you in your career?
Yes, but I don't know if I've ever put them into words before. Let me see. The thing that I carry with me a lot, and there were lots of things that the teachers did and said that inspired me, that I still carry with me. Mr. Spears was my art teacher, and my form tutor in sixth form, and I still think about him quite regularly because he inspired us with, he was just such a sort of kind bloke. Dr. Gill, of course, Mr. Holroyd. But the thing that I really carry with me now is when you're at school, and I found this particularly at Merchants because you're so lucky with regards to the facilities. Students, don't underestimate how lucky you are to have the facilities that you have at your fingertips, and make use of them all. Because I look back now and I go, getting back to the place where you can be I'm taking a long time to describe this, multifaceted in your approach to what you're interested in. So at school, I was into music and art and English, and the library. I loved reading, and there was all sorts of things that you just do them all, and you do a bit of everything. And then and geography. I love geography, although all the geography teachers would laugh at me for saying that, because I got a U, and that's another story. But what I mean is, I still try to implement that. So I still try to implement the mentality of having many interests and following them all with all of my energy. I was always very, very, very encouraged to be interested in all sorts, and there was a real sort of like sense of curiosity that was like fostered at school that I think is essential and one must not let go of ever. And yeah, because there's this weird thing that happens when young people, they start off, they get a little bit of everything, and then as they progress through their school career, or as they progress through their life, they then pick less subjects, and then they pick less subjects, and it's fine. You're still studying lots of things, so you know you just found the ones that you like. And then the time comes when you leave school, you go, oh, I've got these things that I like. You go, okay, well now pick one. And so then you pick one, and then you're in a job, and then you follow that one thing, and then before you know it, you're going, I used to paint. I used to make things. I used to play instruments. And that is not somewhere I want to get to. And so I only in the last couple of years started having, you know, I'm in a band again now, and you know, writing and things, and I have a podcast which takes an enormous amount of time. But there's just and making clothes, you know, all of these things. I've got to do them all. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It's a good point. You don't think about it, do you? Though that you do start to reduce down what you're doing as life goes on, and you're right. There's loads of things actually that you're really interested in that you end up leaving behind. Exactly,
and you know, and it's only now that I've always been, since leaving school, I've suddenly developed a deep interest in science, for example. I love it, and I wasn't particularly good at it at school because I wasn't very good at maths, or at least I didn't let myself be good at maths. And so I didn't let myself work hard enough at it, which I regret now. But I've now got really into science. I love science, and I'm an ambassador for the New Scientist magazine now. You know, after I did the hello.
Did you just see my son then? Sorry.
Nice hat. Have you not got the heating on?
We have. I don't know why he's wearing a hat.
I'm going out to go and have a snowball fight. Oh, lovely. But yeah, so like science is, you know, and then when I did The Trouble with Maggie Cole, and it was on earlier in the year, the New Scientist found out that I am a big fan of it, and so now I'm an ambassador for it. And so now I just have a free subscription to the New Scientist in return for telling people that I'm an ambassador for the magazine. So
fantastic.
You know, but that's it. Is now I just go, why should I not be interested in it just because I don't work in it at all?
Yeah, you also realise as you go on that you don't have to be good at something to be interested in it, which I think is different from school. So you can be interested in science. You might be rubbish at science, but you can be interested in it and want to know about it and want to kind of learn a bit more. Whereas that is different from school, isn't it?
I've got a book I think it's that one there. I've got a book called How to Teach Quantum Physics to Your Dog, right? By a quantum physicist called Chad Orzel. Or Orzel or whatever. But what I've concluded after reading that book is that Chad Orzel's dog is smarter than I am. But it doesn't matter.
But hey.
His dog understands it.
So we've got pupils of all ages, boys and girls, who'll be watching this and who are currently not able to go and do the productions, do the music, do all the stuff that they love doing, which is partly why they're studying performing arts at the moment. Have you got any advice for them on anything they could be doing now just to kind of keep themselves ticking along, or, you know, things to read, people to watch, things to do? How do you keep going at a time when you can't kind of participate in those things that you love?
Buy a camera and start making films. I just got one recently. In fact, I seem to have everything at my fingertips on this call. This is fantastic. It's like I'm on Blue Peter or something. Does that still exist? I don't even know.
It does.
Like, I got this. So I got this camera, right? It's really good. You can shoot cinema stuff on this.
Great.
And so I got this camera, and now I'm starting to learn how to do that and learn how to edit video footage together and color grade to make it look like filmic and stuff. And now I'm just making little films, you know, and anyone can do that. And so if you're creatively minded and you like, you know, acting, you like pursuing the sort of performative subjects, at the moment, get a camera, make short films. They can be set in lockdown. They can be set over Zoom. You know, you can do that just like you're doing, recording this now. You could record a play and put it out. So there's all sorts of those sort of things. And then also writing. Just writing is quite nice. You can pretend that the pandemic doesn't exist. You can write something that's set outside of it. I suppose what the answer is just to keep creative. The big thing that I've missed, and I would imagine that the students would probably be feeling this, is like the loss of community is really big. You know, it's like just being around like-minded people for no reason whatsoever. Like, it doesn't even have to add up to anything. You don't have to have achieved anything. You've just hung around some people who are also into the same stuff that you are. That's difficult. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is.
I'm not sure there is one apart from a vaccine to that one. Yeah. So hopefully this is a relatively short-term situation.
I read on the news this morning that there's some bloke has been going around charging old people £160 for a fake vaccine. He's just been, I don't know what he's been doing, but I don't know what's in this thing that he's injecting. I mean, no one's dying or anything, but watch out for people coming to try and sell you a vaccine. If someone knocks on your door offering a vaccine, chances are it's not the vaccine.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's good advice or not. Really, I'm trying to work it out for myself.
Yeah, I think it's really good advice, because I think it could probably be quite easy to just go, you know, to not be creative and not keep thinking of doing these things. So it's a really good idea to find a way of doing something and staying on it.
I think this is also a time that is very nice, that you won't. It's a time to enjoy your creative pursuits with no end game in place. Just doing it for the love of it and for the joy of it is pretty much the best thing you could be doing at the moment. To keep you sane. This is the other thing, though, as well, is that creative people, nothing really stops them being like practicing their creativity. I think even something like this. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. Well, I think plenty of food for thought there. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I've just witted on like nobody does. Well. I haven't spoken to anyone in days.
I haven't spoken to anyone apart from strange children in hats, so don't worry.
That was nice. He's the second person I've seen today.
I'll invite him back. Get the other one too, if you're lucky. But particularly now that we're back in this lockdown, these sorts of sessions are absolutely brilliant and really valuable.
Well, if you need anything.
Same thing, they only see the same face, the same teachers, and it's actually really nice to hear from someone else, and obviously they can all kind of access it in the right time and stuff. So it's really, really helpful. Thank you.
Well, you know, I'm always on hand, and if any students want to get in touch and chat and ask me about anything, then that is really cool.
Brilliant.
They can just get in touch with me, or, you know, via you or whatever. And, you know, I'm here. I've got time on my hands.
Yeah, now's the time, probably more than ever, to actually take you up on that offer. So
yeah.
Because hopefully things will get super busy again once
fingers crossed. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as I say, if anyone needs anything, just get in touch.
Thank you. That's great.
Lovely.
And well, I hope that lockdown is all right for you, and that things start to wake up again at some point soon.
Yeah, you too.
And maybe when things go back to normal, we'll get you back in school at some point when you're up north.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah, anytime.
All right, thanks.
Thanks a lot, Lisa. All the best.
Bye.
Cheers.